Hi, everybody. Thanks for attending today. Sorry about the little bit of a delay. There is a tropical cyclone going through my town right now. Um, sorry about that. I'm Liz Fickenshaw from Teikametrics. I'm the e-commerce marketing manager here. I'm happy to introduce my friend Rachel Johnson Greer. She is the founder of Cascadia Seller Solutions, and she's going to be talking.
Okay, I hope I didn't lose Liz. But we are talking about social selling on Amazon, and wanted to give you a little intro on what Teikametrics does as well. And hopefully, Liz's sound will come back from the tropical cyclone, and she can give that introduction as well.
Are we back?
Yes, now we are. Yay. Okay.
Sorry about that. All right, sorry about that. I think we're good to go now. So Teikametrics is a solution for people in e-commerce who are looking for connectivity in their workplace and among their teams. So our technology platform, along with our team of expert analysts, helps brands grow themselves profitably on Amazon and Walmart. Right now in the advertising space, we're getting ready to introduce Flywheel 2.0. If you've got questions about that, please feel free to email me. But we're going to give you even more connectivity and insight into your your analytics and your data, so that you can make better decisions about your business. So our agenda for today, hopefully you guys can hear me. Raise your hand if you can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Glad you can. We're going to talk about some social stats, Amazon posts, Amazon Live, Amazon profiles, and Amazon lists. These are 4 different options that Amazon's giving you these days to help get your brand some exposure, which is, I think, really awesome of Amazon to do that. And then Rachel's going to talk about leveraging these options to spotlight your brand, because she and her team have developed some really, really great ways of helping their clients leverage these platforms. So without further ado, I'm going to have Rachel take it away. She is a fantastic presenter, and she's going to show you all about these different options that Amazon's giving you and tell you how to use them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liz. And I am so excited to present to you guys today on social selling on Amazon and how the world's largest marketplace is also your next Amazon experiment. And I actually just saw a pie chart today saying that Amazon is 13%, whereas one of the big Chinese companies is 14%. So maybe there's been a little bit of movement there where Amazon isn't the largest right now, but in any case, Amazon is 13% of global e-commerce as of one of the more recent charts that I saw, which is massive, huge. Obviously, everyone wants to be on it if they can. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what I'm talking about with social selling and who I am. So I am an 8-year former Amazonian, and I have been a marketplace consultant for the last 5 years. And I am an experienced presenter and speaking expert. I don't even know how many of these I've done at this point. I actually had a new salesperson join, and she was like, "Do you have a list of these anywhere?" I'm like, "I'm actually not sure. I don't think I do." And so she's actually made some spreadsheet with all the different things they're presented on, and it's just, you end up developing a feel for presentation, end up feeling how you talk about things, how you speak to a live audience versus how you speak to an audience online. All of that is very different, and so that's one of the reasons why I got super excited about some of the Amazon Live elements of this that I will talk about in just a bit. And I spend literally all of my working week on Amazon. This is what I do all the time. This is literally my working life. I'm always thinking about Amazon, thinking about how to grow client accounts, thinking about how to increase sales on Amazon. So why Teikametrics and social selling? And this actually was something that I was really excited to talk to Liz about and be cooperating with Teika on this particular topic, because Teikametrics has one of the best dashboards that I have seen in this space. So the dashboard process for the way that Teika actually shows you how your products are doing, the way that it shows you how your organic sales versus your advertised sales, all of those pieces, and then what all of the inputs are. I absolutely love Teikametrics' dashboard, and so it's been kind of a big thing for me to been like looking forward to collaborating here. And then the automation piece is super helpful, and there's some cool stuff about how Teika can help with that, and we'll get to that in later slides. Okay.
Thanks for that,
So,
Rachel.
yeah. I was like, we have looked at a lot of different sites, and I actually really love the Teika dashboard. I know it's something to get nerdy about, but having been a former Amazonian for so long, metrics are kind of the Amazon thing. So, okay. So how does Amazon fit into the social landscape? Social media is here for good. So how does Amazon fit into this whole landscape? So 3.8 billion users globally for social media is just absolutely enormous. And obviously, while a lot of this started in the US, and the US is some of the highest penetration areas for social use, it is by no means the top use area. And so while Amazon's starting a lot of their new programs and their new projects in the US, they're already starting to expand those to their other marketplaces globally. So we have a huge opportunity here with so much of the world, more than half really, on social media now. So who are we targeting? Who's often on social? Who are we talking to? So for the situation with the demographics, we have the 70% of females, 72% of males, and the thing that's interesting is where they're gravitating towards. So the majority of women are on Snapchat and Pinterest, and the majority of men are found on YouTube and Twitter. And then the thing that's really interesting and important for you guys, for who your customer avatar is, who is buying from you, is the age ranges. 90% of young people are on social media, and 40% of older people are on social media. So whoever you're advertising to, we have a client who does reading glasses. And so obviously their clientele is going to be on desktops. They're not going to be so much on social. They're really going to be focused on doing things on the desktop, more pictures, more videos, that sort of thing. Whereas the clients that we have that are focused on more on younger people, such as accessories for iPhones, those are going to be, generally speaking, younger people, and so Amazon Lives work best for those kind of folks. Okay, now here's the thing that to me was fascinating when I was looking at the numbers. Amazon's app usage is absolutely incredible. If you look at the numbers between Amazon's app usage and the app usage for Facebook, like everyone knows that Facebook has enormous market penetration, right? But if you're looking at shopping apps in the US, Amazon has 150 million mobile users in 2019, and Facebook has 169 million mobile users in 2019. That's like, when you're looking at the numbers, that's basically around the same. So full market penetration against about adult users in the US. And so if Amazon is going social and they're on 150 million phones, they have just as much ability to do push notifications, just as much ability to notify customers of what's going on as Facebook does. Okay, so now Amazon is going social. So what does that mean for you guys? So what we're going to talk about today is Amazon Posts, which is an Instagram-like tool for brand feeds, Amazon Live, which is a YouTube-like tool to go live to Amazon's audience, Amazon Profiles, which is a Facebook-like tool that allows you to create a custom profile, and Amazon Lists, which is a Pinterest-like tool that allows you to make pin boards of your favorite products and complementary products. Okay, so let's dig into Posts, which is like Instagram. You can see here Amazon's promotional pictures here where it has skip hop and so on. And you can see the featured elements here are that you can see the brand logo, the picture of the product, the show product button, a short blurb that shows here, or you can do read more, and then the subcategories that item is in, like baby gyms and play mats, toys and games, etc. And when you're using this, you can search by subcategory, or you can see it on a competitor's page. So you can't go straight to Posts for baby gyms and play mats yet. It would be amazing if on the search results through Browse, you would have product search. On the right-hand side, you'd have a post feed. They don't have that yet. And this is only on mobile, so it's still in the beta phase. They're still learning what they want to do with it. So here's how it looks on the brand feed itself. So for example, you can see here that the brand feed is vertical, kind of like if you're actually in Instagram. but they don't have a view. You know how on Instagram, when you're looking at a brand, you can see the actual like grid of pictures that people have. You don't have that on Amazon. You just have the vertical feed. So what does a successful post have? And we are huge, huge, huge fans of posts here. I am actually like really into posts. And the reason why is we had a project with a client earlier this spring. They are an outdoor client, and they do a lot of stuff in like backyard furniture, furniture accessories. And when we were working on their products, we were like, hey, let's do this cool new post thing. And we launched a bunch of posts in March and April, and then again a bunch in May, and just watched what happened. And in some cases, products that had literally not sold all winter started just booming. And by June, one of the products where we had only promoted it via posts, no ads, no nothing else, no influencers, nothing, just posts, actually had grown so quickly and so fast just by having 2 popular posts that it actually outsold their top competitor, like the top item in their catalog, and they sold through 3 years worth of inventory in 2 months. And so to me, like that shows right there the power of posts and the power of a viral post. And on Amazon, viral is, relatively speaking, what happens with viral, it's a very organic system right now, is basically when someone's scrolling through another page, they're scrolling through posts, something that catches their eye, they click on and they engage with. Amazon always wants more engagement, more sales, right? That's all that Amazon's about, is more sales, more sales, more sales. So when you have a picture that gets a lot of engagement, then they'll show that picture more because it gets engagement and potential sales. And so it's a completely organic process. If people are interested in the picture, if people are like, oh, what's this? Then more people will be given the opportunity to say, oh, what's this? And right now it's 100% free. Now, I expect that they're going to start billing for this probably sometime next year. I'm assuming that they're going to start doing boosted posts and so on. But that's something that right now is completely free. And so you can test out what works. You can see what kind of engagement customers might have on your product right now, 100% free, which is amazing. And it's not just lifestyle like this. So like on Instagram, if you posted a white background picture on Instagram of your product, then like that's really boring. And you're probably not going to get a ton of engagement on Instagram. People are on Instagram for a particular purpose. They're on Instagram to waste time, honestly. If they're on Amazon to shop. They're interested in learning something about a product. They're interested in finding a solution for their problem. And so on Amazon, you need more pictures of your product. Some of our most successful pictures in posts are actually white background posts of the product itself. You don't even have to have fancy stuff to get started. You can use your white background pictures to get started, and it works just fine. You can also use, one of the things that we've done that's actually really successful is using Unsplash, which is a free site for Creative Commons pictures, and then photoshopping the picture, the transparent picture on the edges to where it's just the picture itself, popping it into the image, making like one caption or something, like the most important feature of that particular product, and those kind of posts do really well too. So you can do really like low-grade posts, even if you don't have money for a custom photo shoot. You can still do it using Canva or doing all kinds of stuff, even just your white background pictures and getting it put up on posts, because people are interested in the product on Amazon, not necessarily some sort of beautiful picture. They're like, oh, I wish that I was in Fiji right now. Actually, some of those pictures where it's kind of aspirational and the kind of things that are like, you know, people say Instagram worthy, those kind of pictures actually don't work so well on Amazon because they don't have a clear product that you're pitching. So people just aren't like, what even are you selling right now? So make sure that you're focused on the product. So the second thing is that you have to have a highly reviewed product. I know that's annoying when you're just starting out, but if it doesn't have a review, the post isn't going to do very well. And because these posts are algorithmic, you can actually repost the same post after, say, a month or two after you've gotten more reviews, and that new post will have better performance than the old post. So you can repost the same pictures. You can cycle through your pictures, and it'll get different results. So make sure that your items are correctly categorized. So people, to get to this place, patio furniture and accessories, you basically click on a subcategory, that thing I showed you on the baby toys and games. You click on that, and it actually takes you to a bunch of different brands' pictures under patio furniture and accessories. And this is the third item yesterday on that search when I was showing this to Liz. So we put this in here to show you can search once you're in the post ecosystem, you can look by brand, or you can search by the subcategory, and you can totally get lost in this. Like you're like, I'm gonna pop up gazebos. Okay, I'm gonna see what else Happy Buy sells, right? So you can kind of get lost in this whole clicking here, clicking there, looking at different products. And especially if you're looking for, if you're someone who's looking for a product for an outdoor event, because, right now I think everyone's trying to do outdoor events if they can help it, then you can click through subcategories and see what you might be interested in. And again, it's all about that product. If it's a product they're interested in, if it looks good and it's got good reviews, you're going to get the engagement. You can also attach these to multiple products, which we do highly recommend, so that you can show up on multiple pages. And you get the opportunity for different products to show up in the product section when you do show more products. And then have a catchy preview text of no more than 10 to 15 words. You can also do a bunch of other text below it, but you don't need to. But really make sure that that preview text is really catchy. In this case, this one is not catchy. Pop-up gazebo, 12 foot by 12 foot with netting, outdoor canopy gazebo with 4 sandbags, patio gazebo with 144 square feet of shade. It looks like they used the product description from a different one, and they used this picture on multiple ASINs, because you can see the product says 10 by 10 and the description says 12 by 12. And so they are actually confusing their customer here. So be careful about stuff like that. Instead, do something like use words that customers care about. So with a pop-up gazebo like this, the thing that I would be worried about is it blowing away. That would be my thing. I'd be like, this thing is going to blow off into the air. This is going to be bad. And so what I would want to know is, where can I put sandbags, or how do I weight this thing down so that it won't blow away, right? Because the roof of a gazebo is great for getting that air and flying right off. So figure out like what matters most to customers. What are they talking about most on your page? What are the keywords that they're using to search your product? And put those as the first couple words in the post, because then you're most likely to get engagement, right? Use the keywords, use the phrasing, use the things that people care about, and they're more likely to be emotionally involved with your product. Okay, so when you're working with us, we actually do the pictures for you. So I did say that for some clients, we have done the quick and dirty way using Unsplash and just a little bit of Canva, which works just fine. If you want to use Canva and Unsplash, it works great. If you want to do an actual photo shoot, then what we do is we actually take care of the whole process for you, work through, should this be an outside shoot? Should this be a custom location shoot? Should this just be in the studio? We have different background colors and so on. And we find the models, the props, the accessories, and the shoot locations. And pictures like this make great posts because you can see the product is prominent. So in the left-hand side, the person holding his watch, you can see that right in the foreground in full clarity, right there is the AirPod holder there, and then the one in the middle is the heat wrap thingy that goes around her neck, and the one on the right is the petticoat. And so you can see that the important thing with these kind of pictures is to make sure that the item that you're trying to sell is front and center of your images. And if you aren't sure what is important, how these things should be photographed, like where are people using these? That's part of the lifestyle photo shoot, right? So if you're talking about someone using a heat wrap, a lot of people were saying that they were using it in their home or just hanging out. And so in this particular situation, she's sitting on a futon. In the case of the AirPods, a lot of people were complaining that the problem with their AirPods is they kept losing them when they were out and about, and they were late for something, and then they would realize they left their AirPods behind. And so you can see, based on what customers are talking about, what your picture should be, what resonates, what's going to get people to be like, oh, interesting. Okay, now let's talk about Amazon Live, which I am super, super, super excited about.
Before we do that, do you want to answer a couple of questions about posts, since we just left that section? I think that might be a good way to break up the questions, because you're getting a lot of them because people are in the group.
Excellent, excellent.
So where would a consumer see the posts?
Yeah, the consumer sees the post. It shows up right below product details on the mobile view and right above videos.
Okay, cool. And then how many Amazon posts can you have?
Oh, as many as you want. There's no limit.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's super awesome. You can post as much as you want. We have some where we're basically posting 10 to 20 images of the same product. And so then we have a lot more opportunities for one of them to click with the audience, right? That's really what you're trying to do, especially with social. The whole idea with social is that something will click. You'll finally get that angle or that picture that really grabs their attention, and more people will click. That's the idea with social. You just want more clicks, more engagement, more people excited about it. And the best way to get that kind of engagement is to just splatter pictures everywhere, and eventually one of them is going to catch on.
Awesome. This was a good one. This person says that they use posts a lot and he sells a bread mix. Should I make everything shorter in the recipe post? Should I just say what it is in the nutrition and save the recipe for his website? So that's kind of a really tactical question.
So that's a super tactical question. I'm really glad you asked that, because we're just going to be going into lives, and something like that is perfect for lives. But I wouldn't do recipe type things on posts. Posts, you want to do like end use type things. So like finished goods sitting out, or something that is the product in an aspirational setting. Like, do think of it somewhat like Instagram. It's not precisely like Instagram, but think of it somewhat like that when you're trying to decide what kind of post you should put there. I have had, sorry about my bird, he seems really excited right now. I've had a few times where posts with text work well, but you have to be really careful with your fonts. And the reason why is because this shows on mobile, not anywhere else. And so with mobile, you have to make sure that your text is big enough to where someone's just scrolling, and they're just scrolling casually down the page while they're trying to get to the customer reviews usually. They're usually not trying to go to your post. They're passing by the post on the way to something else. The text has to be big enough to pop out and grab them as they're going. And so it usually can't be more than like 2 or 3 words in big text. Otherwise, they're not going to see it. It's just going to flash right by. So if you're going to do text, make sure it's big text and that it's like one of the top keywords for your product type. Otherwise, people are just going to fly right by.
Awesome. Did you cover how categories are applied, if it's automatic or if it's through keywords?
It's not through keywords precisely. It's through automatic application. It appears to be anyway. So it's based on your subcategory, your browse zone, your item type keyword, and that's in your category listing report. So if you don't have your category listing report, you can file a ticket and ask for it. They'll enable it for 7 days. You can download it and see what subcategory you're in, what item type keyword you're in, and then that's how Amazon decides what else to show or where to show your stuff.
Okay, great. And I think we probably only have one more, and then we need to move on to live because it's so cool. If you have a post with multiple products, which products reviews show? Which product reviews show if you've got a post that has multiple ASINs?
It's totally random. So sometimes I'll actually not do all 10 products that you can do on a post, and I'll actually post them all separately. I know it's so much more work, but you can actually see how they perform per product as opposed to just dumping them all in, because the metrics really suck right now. So it's kind of like the same thing with advertising. So I know Teikametrics recommends this, where you do an ad group per ASIN, because then you can see how that individual ASIN performs versus the ASIN group. And so the same thing on posts. It's actually better for your metrics to do 1 post per ASIN than it is to do 1 post per 10 ASINs, even though it's easier to set up that way, because you can't see what works. You can't see, okay, this ASIN performed best with this picture and this ASIN performed better with that picture. So in terms of metrics, it's just a lot more work to do it that way, but it's way better to see the results.
Awesome. Keep on putting your questions into the question section. We are going to do Q&A at the end, provided that we have enough time, but I do really want Rachel to get to live because you guys are going to love this.
Awesome. Okay, so Amazon Lives are my new favorite thing. I've been doing a bunch of them, and it's been pretty fun. I don't know if you can tell this, but I like to talk. And so doing something like a live is actually like super, super fun. So for the lives, one of the things that is really cool about lives is that Amazon started this like about a year ago, and they started it as kind of an extension of their old fishbowl type things. They used to do fishbowl events with authors, and then they started trying to get influencers on, and they changed it to Amazon Live. So an Amazon branded product line, and the fishbowl just isn't very engaging. It's just not super fun. And the idea was that the author was in the center of the fishbowl and everyone was around them watching, which just isn't like the most sexy name ever. So they went with Amazon Live, and you can see here that this is Jay Shetty, who is a well-known influencer and writer, and he has a book and a podcast that he is promoting with this live event. Now, the thing that I think is amazing about this is that people who are big draws like this, these big guests, I actually saw recently another ad when I was just going through my feed for Chelsea Clinton doing an Amazon Live, and she was promoting some book that she had written, I don't know, it was a couple months ago or something like that. And so the thing that's cool about this is Amazon brings in these big names. Amazon brings them onto the platform. They promote it. They send out messages. The authors promote it. The authors bring in their audience. And when they are going, if they do something where someone's bored or their session is ended, then they may then see your session, ta-da, right below it. So you can see here that there is an actual live now that feed that's right below the actual high priority one that gets the full width view. And so these big names, Amazon actually promotes them, they get on there, etc. Then you can boost your live and get the clicks because the people who are looking at this big one, or it's right at the end, or maybe they're like, okay, I've been listening for half an hour, I'm kind of bored now, and they see, oh, what's this? I see this. And so you can then use the graphic that you've got here. This right here, this little thumbnail is so critical to success on here. It's all about clickbait, right? Because what you're paying for with boosting on live is impressions. We're the only place on Amazon where you pay for impressions, not pay for clicks. I'm very curious if they're going to do the same concept as posts, where you're paying for impressions rather than paying for engagement, because that's what Facebook does. Facebook tells you, like, look how many people saw your thing. Isn't that amazing? And I am suspecting that they're going to do the same thing with posts, where they're going to eventually charge for that and charge for impressions, because they're charging for impressions on live. So you can see there that it's really critical to have a thumbnail that's grab your attention, interesting, and a title. If you look at those titles, you can see excellent power bank for 2 devices, clear air, clear skin, shop Elsie live, sports and outdoors with Lori, Halloween deviled eggs with Olga Funlight. The one that's good, the brand one, the excellent power bank for 2 devices, it says solar power bank. That is great, actually, because if someone's watching the cooking show there, and this is literally just like in her kitchen. It's not even a very big kitchen there, and she's doing this live. You can do lives anywhere. You don't have to worry about the background. I mean, like, especially now in coronavirus times, like, everyone's at home, right? You get to see everyone's places. And so in this case, you see she's promoting Tefal, which she's using to cook. She's promoting the KitchenAid measuring cups, the multicolor silicone whisks, etc. So while she's doing this, then she's promoting those. So you can either work with influencers like this to promote your products, or you can do a direct brand live. And with your brand live, you want to do something like what Solar Power Bank just did here, where it's clear text. So even when I'm on a desktop, I can read Solar Power Bank. Really important not to have too small of text that you can't read, or not enough contrast between your text and your color. So like air purifiers is difficult to read because it's white against light blue. Whereas clear air, clear skin deals, that's easier to read because it's got a much brighter color contrast between the two. So if you're having a hard time with your thumbnails, that's something that we can help with. It's really important. And in the French glow, it's almost impossible to read that because R and E and N are over something white, and so you can't even hardly read those words. And so it's important to make sure that your thumbnail is engaging and interesting, because you're paying for people to look at it. You're not paying people to click. So you need to have a good thumbnail that gets people who are interested to click. So like Solar Power Bank, excellent power bank for 2 devices. They probably took that from their actual keyword search terms that you can get directly from the Teikametrics account, where it tells you exactly what keywords customers are searching for your products for, and then put that in the title. And then now you've got what customers are searching for in the title, as they're like, oh, wait, what? Okay, I'm interested in that, click, right? So that's kind of the approach that you want to do. The other thing that's really helpful is you can see upcoming lives from other people. And so if you can tell that, say, a Tefal event is going on, or they're doing something on recipes, or there's a Get Fit person who's doing something on like a really popular one, then you can actually schedule your live at the same time. If you're selling, cooking accessories, or if you're selling exercise accessories, get on at the same time as one of the exercise live people. And then you can get the same audience. interested in what you're doing. And so if you were trying to do something like Jay Shetty, for example, he has a very particular kind of audience. And so people who are in that same customer avatar, you'd want to time your live to happen towards the end or towards the middle of his presentation so that you can get the eyeballs of his audience on your thumbnail.
We are getting, several people are asking, can you pre-record a live or does it have to actually be live? Because there are some people using Restream.
Yeah, it used to be pre-recorded was allowed and now it's not. It has to be live. And I think it's because they ran the metrics and saw that the live events are so much better than the pre-recorded, because everything that we're seeing about lives is that the ones that are successful are the ones where there's chat and engagement with the audience. And those are the ones that are super successful. So you have to do that live.
Thanks. That should clear things up for a few people.
Yeah, it is more work that way. I wish, you could just set it and forget it, but the whole point is engagement, which takes time and effort. So then the icons are reading friendly. So I was just showing here that you can see the at-home cooking. This is one of Amazon's own live streams that they sponsor. They have their own that they sponsor for Amazon Live Branding, and they have ones that you can do as an influencer or a marketplace brand. Vendor brands can also do this, but they have different requirements for how they can, like they can't boost the same way, and there's certain other kinds of promotional things that are different when vendors are using live, but everyone can use live. The difference here to me is that a lot of times Amazon's not paying attention to what's happening on their own site. I mean, shocker, we all know this from seeing what they do with their own products on Amazon. If you're paying attention, you can do way better than Amazon's own tools. So here you can see at-home cooking is almost illegible when read in that size. That's the size that it is on the desktop, on a thinner desktop. So make sure that your fonts are big. Okay, now here's the thing about Amazon traffic. Amazon gets mad traffic, right? Lots of people coming at any given time. This one looks like a non-boosted post from a company, the Shop, it's like Shop LC, and they don't look like they're boosting. Now the difference between that, where there's 2 live people at a time, I just did a live on Prime Day in the evening, 8:30 p.m. Pacific, which is pretty darn late because most people are in bed by then at Eastern, and I got in 15 minutes over 6,600 viewers, like people who are actually watching, and the average view rate was 1 minute 52 seconds. That's how many people sat and watched for a while they were interested in the product. And then at the height, you can do how many are watching at a time versus how many watched the whole time. And the metrics will tell you how many are watching the whole time. You can see the max amount when you're actually doing it live on your app. And so we had about 340 or so was the max we had at any given time. And it was 6,600 for the total live, 16 minutes, over 6,600 views. I mean, what other platform will give you that kind of awareness that fast with no following? It's just amazing. So going from that, so starting it, going to the next level, this is the thing that's super exciting. When you first start out, you're rising star. And then to go to the next level where you get this live video on your detail page, literally right below the primary image of your product, you have to be an insider. So it's kind of gamification, I guess, of the tool. So when you're a rising star, it's all the newbies. An insider has to have at least 90 minutes of live event, and there has to be a certain level of quality to it before they promote you. So you can't just have crappy iPhone lives. You have to have something engaging. You have to do chat. You have to get a couple of orders during the lives that you've got. So there's various kinds of things that you have to do to get to insider. Once you're at insider, then you get the live from the brand on the page, and your video will continue to show up on the detail page further down in the video section. And so it's actually really adding value to your detail page as well. On the actual live itself, you can also share it with your social followers on other social sites. So if you've got Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or a mailing list, then you can actually share it with them. You can tell them when you're going live. You can tell them that you are live. That can help with your viewers. You can have your committed followers come on and ask questions. Or if you're launching a new product, this is a fabulous way to get a new product launched on Amazon. If you have off Amazon followers, you do a live on the new product, tell your followers about it, and then have them come on to Amazon, offer them a special discount just during the live to buy the item, and it can really help to boost those initial sales and get Amazon to be like, oh, maybe you make money. That can be a really great way to launch new items. And then you also have this great follow button here. So right now, the follow button doesn't do much. I'm hoping it will do something soon. They just added the follow button for brands about 3 months ago. They've been allowing people to follow influencers for a long time. And what they do with influencers is they actually have a push notification. So if the influencer is on that you follow, it'll actually send you a notification that it happened through the app, which is amazing. So hopefully, if we can get people to follow the brand, and a lot of people will follow on posts, so click on follow. And so I think our biggest follower group right now on Amazon, it's not very much. Our biggest one is like 192 followers. So that's pretty good. But obviously we want to grow that. We want to build more followers so that when Amazon gets this whole push notification thing done, remember when I said there's 150 million active Amazon app users for the Amazon shopping app? Well, that means anyone who's following you will get the push notification on your phone. And if you ever subscribe on YouTube or liked a page or joined a group on Facebook, you'll know what push notifications do is they're right there on your phone. You see it pop up and you're like, oh, interesting. I'm going to go check that out. Click, click, click. Right? It's that social aspect, the live aspect. It's super exciting.
So
okay,
you can,
so
you can tell people on your other social networks that, hey, you're live on Amazon, but in order to be live on Amazon, you have to do it natively on Amazon. Somebody's asking how to connect their Restream account to Amazon, but I'm assuming that Amazon doesn't allow any kind of third party, like talking to each other things, right?
Yeah, so you actually can use a third-party streaming service with the app, and you can connect it. They do like app keys and so on. So if you're already streaming through another app or you're already broadcasting, you can connect it. They have it in the FAQs. I think that the program that we use is called OSP. I'm not 100% sure because I don't actually do this. My photography director does. So he takes care of all that. And so he actually has the whole setup where we actually have a 2-camera setup with DSLRs and a whole lapel mic set up in the studio, and he's got it hooked up to the computer with a streaming software and all of it involved. So you can do it that way. You don't have to use the phone. The first couple times we used the phone, and I don't recommend it because the Amazon Live app doesn't know any other microphone to use than the one that's built into the phone, and I can promise you it's not good. It just sounds terrible. So you definitely want to have a broadcast software to get to that next level because the sound is just terrible with the iPhone microphone. It's not great.
Great.
Okay, so here's some exciting things that you can talk about. The first thing is that you can compare your brand on air to other brands. Not kidding, you can actually do this. If you have, say, like 2 or 3 different products that are out there, you've got something that's brand new, it's super amazing, super cool, you can actually compare your products side by side with your competitors as long as you keep it clean. I'll go into the disclaimers next, but you can compare direct comparisons from you to your competitors. You can promote special events to drive sales. So you can say just for the time that we're on this live and just for the 24 hours after, because you can boost it and it will show on the feed for the next 24 hours. Just for this and just for my viewers, we have 25% off or something like that. You can tell them all about your warranties. Guess what you can't do on Amazon detail pages anymore? Oh, right, talk about your warranty. And that you can request that viewers leave reviews after they buy. You can't talk about positive reviews. You can't talk about only if they're happy, of course. But you can say, we would love to hear from you. If you could leave a review after you buy, that would be amazing. And you can directly solicit people to leave reviews. And so can the influencers. So if you have to work with influencers on Amazon Live rather than do the brand process yourself, then you can ask them to have people leave reviews.
And this does not run up against, this doesn't run up against Amazon policy in any way.
Exactly. This is actually,
because you know
Amazon
how paranoid
Live
I am
policy.
about reviews.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so much easier than doing stuff on the detail page for sure. So here's the disclaimers. You have to say a specific comparison. You can't just say my product is amazing and these ones suck. That doesn't go. You have to be very specific. So product X has only 8 gigabytes of RAM and ours has 16 or whatever. And then you have to make sure that it's specific. So you can say, look at the color saturation on this red. It's so much more clear and it's so much deeper of a color. So for those of you who really love red, this is the product for you. You can see in comparison that this one's more like a pink or a coral, right? You don't want to say like pink or coral sucks, but you can put things side by side and demonstrate them. You also can't exaggerate promotional prices or make unsupported claims. So you can't say something like, we'll never be offering it at this price again. So like that's the TV infomercial type thing. You know, the Billy Mays, like, you're never going to get it at this price. You can't say that because next year you're probably going to do the same thing. And then, of course, the usual stuff on Amazon: no nudity, no sexual content, no restricted products, or illegal advertising claims. Okay, so the thing that I like about the way that Teikametrics works is you can actually leverage your performance information to dictate your spend levels and not the other way around. So you can plan your lives.
And so the cool thing about that is that, because I was consulting with a couple of our analysts when we were getting ready for this, and I was like, well, look, so how does this work? Because the live will only run on your product page if you've got a sponsored brand or sponsored product ad running at the same time, right?
Oh, it will run there regardless. It's just you're going to get more people to the page if you've got ads running.
Right, right. So the cool thing is that we try to keep your ads running pretty much all the time so that you don't miss out on any sales. Whereas a lot of people in the industry find that they run out of ad spend around like 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And Rachel, I think you mentioned that the prime selling times were like what, between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m.?
It's between like 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Yeah, for most of our clients, you can see it. There's a day-to-day tracker that you can see on your Amazon dashboard, and you can usually see when the top selling times are for your product.
That's awesome. So when you get to the run ads part, I have a little bit more to say, but go ahead and like, go through the process.
Awesome. So you can plan your live and do it in advance. So I'm actually scheduling out our lives for this weekend today and putting it in as an upcoming live so that people can know about it. They can see it in the upcoming live section. They can see the promotion in it, they can click on it, and they can get notified when you do go live, which is pretty cool. So it's just another way of getting in front of people. Then you can get social, get your posse set up to chat, buy a couple of items while you're on the live, get comments flowing. You know, all these kind of presentations, anytime you do online presentations, nearly every single time there's some sort of ringer in there asking questions. Now you guys have tons of great questions, so I don't even think we really needed that, but everyone always has preset questions, or they plan out, okay, if there aren't any questions, then here's what I'm going to talk about. Well, you do the same thing with your live, right? You make sure that, you know, if you don't have anyone else to do it, have your mom show up and ask questions, right? I mean, sometimes I have clients who are like, oh no, my mom wanted to help me with my business, and so she bought the product and left a review, and Amazon got mad at me. It's like, here's a chance for your mom to help you out. Join your live, ask questions, make comments, and buy a couple of items. And so that's a good way to make sure that there's clear engagement during the live. And then set your product to be advertised in sponsored products so that customers can see the video when they land on your page. Now, you do have to be an insider or A-list level on live only to have this show on the page. Otherwise, if you're a rising star, it just shows up on the Amazon.com live
page. And you have to work up to get to that, and Rachel can help you do that. You've gotten people way past, like, what's the first one? It's
Rising Star.
Rising Star, yeah. So you all come in as rising stars, and Rachel takes you further than that. So just about, if you're going to do something like this and have a corresponding marketing push along with your advertising that dovetails into your existing advertising, this is actually a good time to get a little more aggressive too. So if you know you're going to run a live on a certain day, you might increase your max or drive up your bid aggressiveness just for that day, just to make sure you're, as the last point Rachel says, making that money. It's a great opportunity because this is something, obviously, if Amazon created it, then they're going to promote it, push it. It's going to be something that that you can do in addition to the regular advertising that you're doing, but you can amp up your ads a little bit if you want to. And be a little bit more aggressive, especially if you're just starting out with this, right, Rachel?
Yep, absolutely. So we actually, the 6,600 folks that we got in, that was with only about $100 in boosted budget. Literally $100, 6,600 eyeballs watching it, not just the impressions of 6,600 people actually watching. So it's like, where else can you get that kind of traffic that fast? It's just amazing. Okay, so here is a basic summary on creating engaging content on live. So links, it's super important to have a lot of content. I was reading an article about a woman who does she's an influencer who does Amazon Live, and she was talking about her week, and she was like, yeah, on Thursday I painted my nails for 5 hours on Amazon Live. literally was just sitting there talking and chatting with people and just demoing, painting her nails on live. And she did 2 hours in the morning and like 2.5 hours in the evening, plus her setup time, and about 5 hours in the day just painting your nails on live. And so length really makes a difference, because if you think about when you use the Amazon app, right, you hop on for something, you take a look at something, you're like, wait, that's live. What's this? Click on it, see some other stuff, maybe go down a rabbit hole. So most people who are on live are there because they're on their Amazon app, they're looking at it that way, or they're on the Amazon desktop for some reason. So usually when you're shopping on Amazon, maybe you're like, oh crap, I'm at a kitty litter. I've definitely had this feeling before. You log on to Amazon, you go clicking around looking for it, and you might get distracted by a couple things. This is how you get people to pay attention, right? But they're not going to be on there for more than maybe like 15 minutes. So if you're live for say about 2-3 hours at a time, which is like Amazon wants you to be over 60 minutes to get to A-list, it's quite lengthy. Then you have that whole hour to get everyone who logs on during that time, right? So that's the reason why you have to be lengthy, is not because they want you to have some amazing in-depth 60-minute presentation. It's because everyone kind of is in and out, in and out, in and out on Amazon. And so you just need to make sure that you are on for a long time so that you have the most opportunity to get people in. Now, in terms of length, you don't need to have a 60-minute presentation. What you do instead is you have a 2 to 4 minute presentation that you cycle through over and over again. And so that works pretty well. And then you can also do different featured products. So a couple times I've done brand lives where I just go through the whole brand product. And so that takes 30 to 60 minutes to talk about each of the products and their brands. That works too. And again, the repeatable spiel is really important for creating engaging content, because you want to think about how Billy Mays does it, right? Go watch one that he does. He repeats the same content every 4 to 5 minutes. He just repeats it with different words, with a different product, or like the Sham Wow guy. He does the same thing over and over again. He just does it with this thing, and then he does it with this thing, and then he does it with this thing. And so they're repeating the same thing. They're just doing it with different examples, or they're using different words, or they're like super excited and it's amazing. I think that's a little bit crazy. You don't have to be that crazy, but you do need to be engaging and moving a lot, because a lot of people watch this muted. And so if you want them to unmute, then you can often use broadcast software and put like unmute to hear about our deals. Try to get people to unmute that way. And then using the products is so critical. If you're just talking about the products, you're not using them, then all of those muted viewers aren't going to be able to tell what you're doing. But if you actually use the product and you demo it and you hold it, and you can, especially if you can do it in a set, like add an actual house, if you're using something in a household situation, recipes, anything like that, things that you can show people without sound are ideal. So what we do is we actually do it for you, or we coach you to go live. So getting to insider status is the most critical part of making Amazon Live successful. And we do the hard work of getting you to that status before you have a significant outlay of cash for a model or a lifestyle set location. One of my favorite examples of what's so important about getting the right spokesperson is actually Dr. Squatch. This is not someone that we work with. I was just looking at their stuff online and was like, this is brilliant. They know their customer avatar. They are nailing it. If you want to see some good marketing, go to Dr. Squatch, and they have a paid spokesman. And so you want to be able to utilize the funds that you spend as effectively as possible. That paid spokesman is probably not very cheap. So if you have someone get you to insider status and then start paying for this spokesperson, that's the point at which it shows on your page. That's the point at which you get full width viewing on Amazon.com Live and so on. And so then you can really get better results. The influencer article that came out just a couple days ago, who does a bunch of beauty blogging, she said that when she got to the insider status, her results got way better, and then she actually made it to A-list status, where she can occasionally make it to the Amazon.com homepage. Like, how amazing would that be? And she said that's when her income really skyrocketed. So that's, that's A-list direction, right? So insider is kind of the minimum level to really start seeing return. And it takes a little while to get to that level, to insider. You have to go through the process of doing the lives and then get approved to get to insider. Pretty difficult. So we can do that hard work for you. And this is actually me doing it a little still during the middle of something. It's pretty fun. Okay, now let's talk about, oh, sorry, Liz, are there any questions before we go into profiles?
There are, and was that a tent?
No, it was actually a cot.
Oh, cot, okay. So how can you see when other lives will happen? Do you have to?
You just go to amazon.com/lives and then go to upcoming lives. The really big lives are promoted and they often happen around the same time.
Okay, cool. Do we have evidence that $1 spent on Amazon Live posts, etc., have a better ROI than $1 spent on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, etc.?
As yet, no, there's not enough data on that. They just started allowing boosting posts. I'm boosting the lives like a month or two ago. So no, there's no data yet.
And
This
how
is
do
literally
you?
like ground floor.
Right, right. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be lots of changes, but it's good to get in now because like posts are free and this isn't, but who knows how much it's going to cost in the future. I didn't just say
Well, you
that.
can do lives for free, right? You just have to pay to boost.
Pay to boost. How does somebody access where to do a live from their Seller Central account?
They do not. You actually have to get an iPhone of some variety and download the Amazon Live Creator app. It's only on Apple, and you can only access it through the App Store. So it needs to be either an Apple tablet or an Apple phone, and that's how you run your live.
Okay. But then you sync it up to, obviously you sync it up to your Seller Central account, but
Well, you log in using your Seller Central account, you sync it up there, but you can only access it through the app. Yeah.
okay, good to know. And then I think this is an actual question on how you do things. Do you feed the live questions to the presenter? Should the presenter be reading them or does a team member assist with this? Like what's the most effective way? I imagine that talking to the
Oh, for the
camera and being
questions from the
animated.
audience?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so funny that you asked that. The way that we ended up doing it is my camera guy actually has a whiteboard and he puts the question on the whiteboard and then puts it up and faces me and I can see the question as we're going and then I'll actually reference the question from the whiteboard because especially if you're behind the camera, like you can see everything that's happening on the app and you can see it happening on the presentation software, but if you're in front of the camera, you can't see anything. So I basically came up with that because the smaller items where I can do it at a table, I can have the phone with me. The bigger items that take up a lot more space, I can't do that, especially if we're on set. And so it makes it almost impossible to be able to do that. So we came up with the whiteboard solution. It's fast, it's low tech, and it works.
Last question on this, is live available for 1P or just 3P?
It's available for both. The only difference is that there's some differences in how you boost for 1P. I'm pretty certain that you can't right now because they aren't part of the same advertising platform. Vendors aren't. And so this is actually something that launched from Marketplace first, which just goes to show you how important Marketplace is becoming to Amazon.
Great.
But you
All right.
can do lives as 1P for sure.
That's awesome.
Okay, so let's talk about profiles. I love profiles, and here's why. If you check out this profile, you can see that there is a cover picture and a kind of central logo picture. It looks exactly like Facebook, right? This is exactly how Facebook looks, and the mobile view is exactly the Facebook mobile view. But look at that bottom left. About, at brand, we are committed to providing products of enduring comfort and value. Where the comfort is, blah, 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 read more. That is the brand's blurb about the brand. And then right below it is their website. Where else on Amazon can you put your website and actually reference your website on Amazon? All right, nowhere. You can't do that. It's super exciting. So this is actually allowed. It's set up by the community team. It's something that is permitted on Amazon to put your website on here, and it's part of your profile. And then below that, all the little icons are clickable icons to the Facebook page, to the Twitter page, to the Pinterest page, to Instagram, and to YouTube. And all of those can be linked right here under your profile. Super exciting.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So for engaging with your haters and your fans, I know we all fall into that trap of talking to our haters more than our fans because, you know, we're always worried about those 1- and 2-star reviews and how to fix that, and then we don't talk to our fans. Well, the way that customers engage with reviews is not like that at all. The way that customers engage with reviews is they'll click on the number of reviews, then on the left-hand side, at least I have done this, we've done this as examples with other folks that we've watched use the site, is they'll actually click on the 4 stars, they'll click on the 3 stars, they'll click on the 2 stars, to see what other people said about the product, or they'll click on the 5 stars to see what other people like, so they can see if that was really what is going to work for them too. So when they do that, on the main page view, you can't see comments. When you click on 5-star only, or you click on 1-star only, like this happens to me all the time when I click on 5-star or 1-star only, because I want to see, okay, what did it really work for and who did it really not work for, to see if that will work for me. On that page, when you click on just the particular star rating, then you can see 1 comment or 2 comments or whatever. And so by only responding to your haters, you miss all the people who are looking at the positive comments. You miss all those opportunities to see that, you know, people like the comments, click, oh, comment, that's interesting. And so then you have that many more opportunities to engage with people who like your brand, who are looking at the reviews, or who may be interested in featuring your brand, or who are just looking at comments to try to see if this product is right for them. So here's what it looks like when you make a comment. You can see that there's a little widget there that says the manufacturer commented on the review below. So they make that there, and there's like a little what's this button. And if you do the what's this, it says it's an official comment. And so if it's an official comment, then you can have the manufacturer comment on there. That's through 1P. If you are doing it through 3P, you can have ownership of the brand. You can take ownership of the brand in the profile section, and for those ones, it does a little check mark. But it does make it look special. So there is something special there. And you can see here that this particular person had a 3-star that has little 1 comment. When you pop open the 1 comment, then you see the result here. And then you can see that the name of the people who commented were just customer care. That's it. So what I usually recommend is, instead of just saying customer care there, you see where it says the manufacturer commented on this review, customer care, manufacturer, 1 year ago. It doesn't say anything about it. There's no kind of call to action element. So what I recommend is actually being a little bit more engaging with your name. Something like, click here to learn about brand, or get 20% off the brand here. Now, right now, they don't have any rules about changing your name to be a promotion. I'm sure that if enough people do this, then they'll add that as a rule, but right now there isn't one. So if you want to do that, you can do that right now. You can also be descriptive, like brand customer care team, but I do always recommend putting your brand in the name. The people who are clicking through, a lot of times people are searching on Amazon and they're not familiar with your brand, they're not familiar with what's going on. They're just looking at different things that have ratings. They're not super brand aware, most customers. So make sure that they see your brand over and over again. The more brand awareness, the more likely it is that you're building pathways in somebody's brain, right? Repetition breeds familiarity. So the more you say the brand name, the more people are like, oh yeah, this is a brand I know and trust. So the only way to guide your customers to your website, to YouTube, Facebook, etc., through Amazon policy is through Amazon profiles. It's huge. So the best way to get customers to see it is through referencing it in your buyer seller messages. Like, I'm so glad you asked about that construction question. I'm sorry that the instructions weren't clear enough. If you go to our profile, you can click to see videos on how to do this. And most people are like, videos, oh, YouTube link, click. Or they're like, oh, website, I'll click there. So you can actually do that in your buyer seller messages, drive them to your profile, and now they can see your website and your social. And when you're creating your profile, then you can claim ownership of the brand. Okay, so best practices and profiles. Respond using the customer review section of Seller Central for ease of use. It's actually really convenient. You don't even have to worry about it on the actual page. Like it used to be to where you'd have to keep up with each page every single day. It's horrible. So the best thing to do there is to use the new customer review section in Seller Central for your brand. And you can just mark it complete within Seller Central. It's great. And then only the first sentence or so of your bio shows on the profile. So make sure to tell them to expand if you have more to say, or just put all the most important things at the very beginning. And then make sure that your pictures are really engaging, just like on Facebook, when you want people to click, or you're interested in having people be interested in you, you have engaging primary photos and engaging cover photos. And then choose some sort of gripping profile name so that people are more likely to click. Because the goal here is to get them to click and see your profile and potentially get on Amazon traffic to go off Amazon to your external social and external website. And then if you are outsourcing to an agency, to start responding to all these for you, because it's a lot of work to respond to all these customer reviews, a lot. Plan for minimum 6 to 8 weeks, no matter who you're working with. So we do this. I know Seller Smile does stuff like this. There's lots of folks out there. Or if you're bringing on a VA, just plan for 6 to 8 weeks, because you really shouldn't allow anyone who's new to comment publicly on your page without your approval. And so it takes about that long to build out a list of blurbs and approved responses. And in some cases, especially if it's kind of a touchy or sensitive item, or you guys are concerned about brand image, then you will never be quite out of the loop. Any new or tricky situations get escalated. We use a daily spreadsheet. Other companies use different things. Your VA may use a different process with you. If you love Slack, that's an option too. But you want to make sure that you plan for that kind of transition before you just plan the time into your day to do it, and try to standardize what you're doing. So if this kind of question, then this type of blurb. Amazon had a approach where you had basically blurb templates, and then inside it you'd have what's called blurblets, which would be a sentence or two in response to a particular situation. It takes a little while to build those procedures out. Okay, so we're going to go through lists pretty quickly, and then we'll have a few more questions. I know we're a little bit over time, and folks have other things to do. So this one is a Pinterest knockoff, and it's the newest one. It's the least built out. There are a few things that seem like they're going to be incredibly powerful if Amazon puts the money behind it. No one knows if they are yet. It's still in the beta phase. It's very new. There's no real proven ROI. I don't have any good examples of making money here, whereas I have great examples on posts and on live. And obviously, having someone where you can link to your website through Amazon policy is amazing for profiles. For lists, I don't really have anything like that, but it's brand new, and so I wanted to share it with you since Amazon's getting all social and getting into all the different things. So they have these curated lists that they produce. So work from home supplies by Amazon, and the list owner is Amazon.com, and you can scroll through and you can actually select add to cart for all these items, and now you're set up for work from home. So there's this kind of curated list approach. And then you have your own list if you're an influencer. And so in this case, Vogue editor picks, men's most loved, and so on. They show up in only women's apparel and home decor right above where the posts are. So you usually have a sponsored brand row, explore, another sponsored brand row, and then details, and then posts. And that's usually how it looks on mobile. And they show up as little circles, little circle dots to click on. And when you click on those, they take you to a list board. So what's a list board? You basically create an idea list, and this is what Amazon shows you, and you don't have one, is create one. So you click on it, and then you put something in, and here's just a generic one. All of this is Google searchable, so that can be kind of cool if you're trying to gain Google rank on this, but it's a lot of work. This is a lot more like the kind of thing that you would try to, unless you really know Pinterest and you know that it works, then I probably wouldn't invest in this yet on Amazon. And you can see it's pretty straightforward. You put in something like no Frida sauce. It's not sucker, search for it. Click on it, it gets added. And then what customers see is the items that are added to it. So the top items there, in this case, the co-sleeper, the baby wrap, the burp cloths, and the sleep sack under new mom kit. And you can heart it, or you can make comments. And so this appears to be designed mostly for customers and influencers because of those hearts and comments and so on. But you can also share your kit list on your social media. So you know that your customers are interested in buying stuff, and you know that you have an audience for those customers, but you only sell like one accessory product, or you sell replacement parts. You could make a list with your replacement parts and the primary item, and then share that on social media, for example. That's an idea for how to use it. We just don't have a lot of proof that it works yet, and so that's that. So getting in on the ground level is, I think, the most important thing about this. And so really it's about getting expert help. And what we do is we help you with setting up and maintaining your posts, one-time setup or ongoing support. We'll also do live coaching to help you prepare for your live events, give you feedback on it. We're actually doing the lives with you, and you have full editorial control and input. Or we'll work with you to find appropriate influencers and work with them to get you set up there. And we also do managing your customer experience on Amazon. Of course, we do lots of other things, but that's what we do for the content of this presentation. We also do full service plans, where this is just included as part of our full service management plan.
That's awesome.
So the thing that I love about this, oh, sorry, go ahead, Liz.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying the thing that I really love about partnering with Teikametrics here is that you're combining automation with human intelligence, that how you set things up and how you think about how customers interact, combined with, okay, what are the most important selling phrases that you're getting? Which keywords are working best? which ones are most expensive, which ones get the most clicks, which ones get the most engagement, and put those on your titles, put those in your thumbnails, talk about them over and over again during your live. You use the data that comes from a tool like Teikametrics and then turn that into the content of your live, turn that into the captions on your posts, turn that into the words on your posts. So you're combining automation and data-driven elements with that human intelligence of what should we talk about and how should we talk about it. And here's the best way to contact us, info@thinkcascadia.com. And now if you have any more questions,
I did want to mention, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yep,
I
just wanted to mention that there's the things that Teikametrics can help you with.
We do have the brand performance matrix. It's a free tool that we introduced not too long ago, and that helps you discover your, you can benchmark your brand against your competitors. So as you're experimenting with these social options, I would encourage you to use the brand performance matrix to figure out where you are in terms of your competition, and then see how it changes, and then tell us, because we love data and we want to know. And I'm super excited about these social offerings too. We did have a question from my friend Chris Freiberger, and he said, and this is sort of similar to the earlier question, but I want your buy-in personally. All things equal, if you had a limited amount of money to allocate to social media efforts, would you do this, or would you go spend it on, so you've got somebody and they're like, I only have this much. Do you believe in this enough to like point them directly at Amazon, or would you have them do traditional social marketing instead?
Right now, I would actually do posts over Instagram or Facebook, to be honest. I think that posts get way better return. For the ones that we've done in terms of projects earlier this year, the most successful one ended up in selling about 20 to 30K a month, when it had been selling between 500 and 600 a month. And that was the most successful. Obviously, not every product is going to be a runaway success, but we're seeing really great traffic and engagement through posts without costing anything. And so that is the best part. When you're on social, you do have to boost to get attention. You do have to try to get out there to get followers at first, whereas posts are immediate. You're already out there. You're already getting posts. So if you have limited time and energy to engage, posts is where I'd put it. And then for the second place that I'd put it is responding to customers with your profile and trying to get people engaged that way as well.
Great. We are way over time, but one question that a lot of people had is, how do you access your profile?
Yeah, so you access your profile through Amazon.com. I know that makes no sense. It's not connected to Seller Central. Nothing is. Even though when you're on your profile, it shows that you can take access of the brand that you're signed into. So it obviously talks to each other, but there's no way to click between. So it's kind of like brand registry. You can't click between it, but you sign in with the same information. Weird. So when you're trying to get to your profile, you go to Amazon.com and then go to your Amazon profile in your account section. I know it's weird, but you go to Amazon.com to find it.
That's so weird. And it's Amazon, so any of that could change, right?
Right. They do move it around. It used to be called Your Profile, and then it was called Profile, and then it was called Your Amazon Profile, and it was in 3 different spots over the last year and a half.
Let's do one more, because I think this is important. Are we able to set up multiple profiles if we are a manufacturer of multiple brands?
Yes, in fact, we recommend that you do that. Yeah, we absolutely recommend that you do that, a separate one for each, so you have a separate brand. So to do that, we use Google Groups. I think they're fabulous for this. So then you can have multiple people get messages if something comes in, and you can log in as that. So if you had like brand1@googlegroups.com, and then you invited that as a secondary user, you gave them access to the customer reviews and the order section, and then you build the whole thing where you log in as that brand to respond to those ones, you log in as the next brand to respond to those ones. It makes it so much easier to outsource in the future. I actually do not recommend connecting this to your primary seller account. To me, that's a really good way of making it to where you can never outsource properly. And obviously, over time, you do not want to be the one responding to all of your reviews yourself. And so setting up a separate login for customer reviews and then doing it as a Google group makes it to where the notifications go straight into your regular email. So you don't have to worry about logging into a whole new email every single time you're trying to set up a new customer service profile.
Awesome. Well, it is almost 2:15. We're almost a whole quarter of an hour past the hour. Rachel, thank you so much. I think what I'm going to do is get these questions together, and then when we break the write-up that's going to go along with this recording that will be emailed to all of you, which I didn't get to say at the beginning because my internet went completely away. But I'll bug Rachel for the answers to your questions that are still outstanding, include those in the recap. Rachel, a couple of people asked if we could share your slides. I think we could consider that maybe, some version of them, but you guys will have visibility into the slides, into the recording. So you'll at least have them that way. And
Awesome.
if you guys need help with this new thing, she knows what's up. So info@thinkcascadia.com. If you've got questions for me, it's lfickenshire@teikametrics.com, or you can email info and ask them where I am. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Rachel. Let's do this again soon, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Take care, everybody who attended. Thank you so much.
Thank you.